tribe? How you guys doing? I got a throwback for you tonight. So we're gonna do another Falcon Crest. We are still on season 1, but we are almost at the end. This is episode 18. I mean 17. I think there's only 18 episodes, so we are almost at the end. And I told you the wedding between Lance and Melissa in the last episode, it sort of changed the whole trajectory of things. But we have not forgotten about what started this whole situation, which is Jason getting killed, dying, whatever we gonna talk about, and Chase coming to town. Chase still wanna know what happened to his daddy. Okay, so this is where we're going. Now we start this episode off with Melissa and Lance, honey. They on their honeymoon, and they listen. They on a bit more want to be married than the man in the moon, and Lance is telling Melissa how she gonna have to get rid of this baby, and Melissa is telling Lance, yeah, that's not gonna happen, bro. I'm having this baby, and he was like, yeah, but it's not mine, and ain't nobody gonna believe it's mine. She was like, why? She said, because your reputation ain't all that stellar, and in my mind, I'm thinking, hell, neither is yours. Like, you the one that don't even know who the daddy of your baby is, but I guess she might have been a little more discreet than Lance was. I don't know, child, but neither here nor there. Lance gets up to go get them something to drink. He comes back, and Melissa is entertaining not one but two men. Okay, she got one giving her a massage, and the other one is in her face inviting her to, cause they in Hawaii, honey, inviting her to come on over to Maui. And she said, "No, I think I stay in Waikiki." And Lance is just like, "I'm gonna need y'all to roll out." And they were like, "Why? Who's asking?" He said, "Her husband." Mind you, don't even one of them have on their wedding rings. Okay. So Lance is done. He's fed up. They were supposed to be on this 2-week honeymoon, honey. It's barely been a week. Lance is packing up and he is rolling out. And he was like, listen, I'm on my way to go pay the bill so we can head on back home. You need to come on and follow before the bellhop mistakes you for what you really are. I said, damn, he just called his wife a good hoe. Okay. So they get back to town. And of course, you know, Julia is like, now Lance, what y'all doing back? Because you ain't never called. You ain't never came back early from no vacation. And Lance was like, honey, it ain't no vacation. She said, oh, I guess the honeymoon is over. And he gave her that look like, honeymoon never started. Okay. Now down to the to Chase's house. Chase is going through all the paperwork. He's reading these letters. That remember those letters that Cole brought back from Italy when he went there with Angela, and he is like, none of this is adding up. Like, it is clear that Angela and my father just did not get along. Like, everybody seemed to know it. The whole situation with Emma, it's just too much. He was like, I really need to get some answers. And, you know, the family is with him and all, but I think at this point, the family is like, listen, granddaddy dead. Like, you know, whatever might have happened, but he gone. Daddy, he gone. But Chase, I mean, that's his daddy. He cannot let go. Now, while this is going on, back up to, you know, the Channing's house, to Falcon Crest, Emma is having a nightmare, one of her nightmares, and she's screaming. You know, she lets out that blood-curdling scream. Well, Melissa don't know. This is her first night at Falcon Crest. She don't know what the hell that is, and she getting ready to run like the rest of them are running. Angela told her to stay downstairs. Melissa said, no, I ain't staying down here. I don't know what's going on. She don't know it's just, you know, Emma having a nightmare. She's heard somebody screaming. She think it might be a burglar in the house or something. And then part of her is just nosy. Next thing you know, Melissa is standing outside the door listening, and Julia, Angela, and Lance are in there, and they're comforting her. And of course, she's saying things like, I don't want to go to jail. I'm guilty. I'm sorry I did it. They're going to make me go to jail. So, of course, Melissa is like, make you go to jail? What you got to go to jail for? Okay. So, the next day, Lance goes to see the sheriff. Before that, I'm sorry. The coroner went to go visit Angela. And Angela told the coroner, you don't have nothing to worry about. Like, just stop. I'm going to need you to calm down. I'm going to need you to stop tripping. Don't worry about what Chase is doing, asking questions and everything else. You're the coroner. You're not the examiner. You didn't make the decision not to have an autopsy. That falls on the sheriff. So if Chase asks you any questions, just say the sheriff did it. I said, see, Angela is the type of person, you don't want to do no dirt with her. Because the minute shit start coming her way, she'll be like, look at him. I ain't do nothing. So Chase goes to visit the sheriff because, of course, Chase knows, the sheriff is the one that didn't ask for the autopsy. And he says, I need to talk to you. And the sheriff blows him off. And Chase was like, listen, me and you gonna talk now or later. You're like, I know you might have somewhere to go right now, but we either gonna talk now or we gonna talk later. He was like, well, meet me back here at noon. Chase was like, all right, then I'll be here at 11:45. So he goes to see Angela. And Angela is, they having this conversation. And once again, who's standing at the door overhearing and listening to the conversation? Melissa. Now, she hears a little bit more. She still ain't put it all together yet. But now, this time, she hears Chase's name. And Melissa is like, she's standing at the door. And Charlie comes through. And Charlie was like, can I help you? And Melissa was like, no. Like, like, did you know the sheriff was here? Charlie was like, yeah. Like, he here all the time. What you talking about? Well, I mean, why do you think he's here? Melissa was like, Charlie was like, because he minding his business. Nothing that you need to be concerned with. So, then Melissa get to lurking around again. This time, Julia rolls up on her. And Julia is like, what you want, girl? Lance looking for you. And she was like, well, what is going on around here? Like, y'all need to tell me what's going on. Like, the sheriff is here. The coroner was here. Emma's having her nightmares. What is wrong? Why is she worried about going to jail? And Julia was like, listen. And by this time, Lanston came in. And Lance trying to get her to basically mind her business, too. Julia says, listen. Emma is a kleptomaniac, okay? We've been trying to keep a lid on it, but Emma likes to steal, and, the shopkeepers in town are just getting a little tired of it, and so she's worried about going to jail for that. And Melissa was like, well, what that got to do with Chase? And that's when they were like, Chase? Nothing got to do nothing with Chase. So, Lance tries to get her out of there. Lance was like, come on, let's go riding. And Melissa was like, don't be trying to change the subject, and you know that I can't go riding. And then she kind of get that little look in her eyes, and she looks at Angela, and she looks at Julia, and she was like, I'm pregnant. Honey, Julia, listen, Angela's face lit up. In her mind, she was like, yes, I got my air. Oh, this is perfect. Julia is like, what? You are what? You're who? With what? Baby. So, of course, now immediately Angela is just loving it, and everything is so perfect. But Julia is not here for it, and Julia, is looking at Lance, and Lance, of course, in that moment, Lance don't have nothing to say. I guess he was like, let me just let me see how this whole thing plays out. And the thing is this, I'm pretty certain that Angela ain't really we'll get to that anyway. We'll get to that. Now, back over to Chase's office. Chase comes in. Maggie's been sitting there waiting for him. She made lunch and was ready for him and everything. And he come walking in there late. And she was like, what's going on? And he was like, oh, I had a meeting with the sheriff. He stood me up, and he's like back to doing work. And, Maggie is like, listen, what is really going on? She was like, we never spend any time together anymore. You always working late. She's like, you're becoming a workaholic. You're neglecting me. And that is just not going to be okay. Like, we might as well go back to you flying planes, and leaving being gone 5 days a week, if that's what we're going to do. And so he was like, listen, I'm sorry. I got this whole thing with my dad going on. He said, listen, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. He said, but I flew planes for a living. And yes, I had my instruments to help me, but I also had to live by my instinct. Because sometimes the instruments weren't right. They were supposed to work, but they didn't work the way they were supposed to. They didn't always work the way they were supposed to work. So at the end of the day, I gotta listen to my instinct. And she was like, and your instincts are telling you that your daddy was killed. All right, well, how can I help? Because the sooner we get this situation over with, the sooner I can get back to having my romantic lunches and everything, because this is too much. So he was like, can you go talk to the doctor? The doctor that Emma had gone to talk to. That psychiatrist that she had that one damn visit with that everybody seemed to know what she said to the damn doctor. Okay. I guess ain't nobody ever heard of HIPAA, but all right then. So Maggie was like, okay, I go. Now over to the hospital, Douglas is being released. He's being released. He's finally going home. The doctor, gave him a new diet, told him he need to exercise, do all the stuff they tell you to do, but do it, build yourself back up, all that good stuff. And Julia's trying to get Douglas to move into Falcon Crest. Talking about something, you know, we'll take care of you, Dad. It'll be just like old times. And I'm sure in his mind he was thinking, and that's exactly why my ass ain't moving over there. Because I don't want no old times. Been there, done that. I got the postcard. Ain't nobody fooling with Angela like that. He said, nah, I'm good, boo. I'll be up there to visit you. And she was like, well, make sure you take it easy. He was like, I'm going back to the office tomorrow. I'll be all right. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'll be all right. And, of course, she was like, Daddy, listen to the doctors, please. The doctors are saying you can't do it. And he was like, the doctors can kiss my butt. Whatever. Now, poor Cole. Cole is working, and who come rolling up, and their white Porsche is that damn, or off-white Porsche, whatever color the child Porsche was, is that damn Melissa. And Melissa says, Cole, look, and you know, Cole don't have nothing for her. Cole ain't trying to talk to her. She said, you still mad? And she was like, you still mad? Like, you still mad about me getting married? Girl, I told you that wasn't going to change nothing. Like, me and you still can do what we do. Like, she said, listen, the pressure that I was getting from my father and from Angela, it was just too much. At a certain point, I was going to have to give in sooner or later. So I just went on and did it now. Like, come on, like, you know. And he was like, well, you had choices. You didn't have to give in. She was like, boy, bye. Like, ain't nobody giving up. I ain't giving up my lifestyle. I ain't giving up my inheritance. Not for you. Boy, like, we good and all. And if you play your game right, like, we might end up back together. But, yeah. I don't know what you thought this was. So, she says, listen, you can be mad all you want, but I came here to try to help you. I came here to try to tell you some things. And you're going to listen to me whether you want to or not. And so she goes and tells Cole all the stuff she's been seeing, hearing, feeling up to the Falcon Crest about Jason, Emma, and her dad. And so, of course, he ends up calling Chase about it. Now, while this is going on, Angela is also reaching out to the doctor. She's sitting there trying to figure out what she can do to try to stop this whole inquest from going down. So she tells Charlie. Charlie was like, well, how can I help? She was like, make sure that nothing from Jason's accident can reach back to us. Make sure nothing comes back to us. And Charlie was like, you got it. And she tells Julia, get that doctor on the phone that Emma went to go talk to. I need to go, you know, talk to him, and because he's the one that's telling everybody that he think, you know, Emma was there when all this went down. I need to talk to him. So she gets the doctor on the phone, and of course the doctor won't tell her nothing. He's like, listen, I can't really share nothing with you, like, unless I get, you know, permission from Emma. That is Emma's conversation, and it is private. Angela gonna say, well, I'm her mother. He was like, I'm a grown-ass woman. Like, Emma got to be in her late 30s, early 40s. I mean, like, boy, girl, go sit down, okay? And so he wouldn't talk to Angela, but Angela didn't seem to be too deterred by that. Because maybe Angela figured, well, if he won't talk to me, he won't talk to anybody. Maybe that's what she was thinking. Because in my mind, I was like, why are you happy about the way that conversation just went? But Ali goes down to the junkyard. Now, why is Jason's truck still there? I don't know. Mind you, it has been, at this point, it's been at least 9-10 months. I don't know why they still got that junk sitting on the parking, at the junkyard. But they do. Charlie goes and he sees the broken steering wheel. Now, remember, the steering wheel potentially has his handprints on it, or fingerprints on it. Because he was the one that got behind the steering wheel. And, of course, you know, wasn't nobody putting no gloves and stuff on. So he ends up buying the steering wheel from the guy at the junkyard, which to me was pretty obvious. Like, I feel like you did the opposite of what Angela asked you to do, because that truck been sitting there all this time and Chase ain't thought nothing about that truck. Why all of a sudden now y'all worried about it? Like, I don't feel like at that point Chase would have gotten fingerprints off the steering wheel. I don't even think he would have thought about that. But now you made yourself obvious, because you done went down there and the only thing you did was buy the damn steering wheel from the junkyard guy. Like, if you had said, let me get the whole car, and then you destroyed the whole truck, that's one thing. But you just want to buy the steering wheel? Whatever. So Melissa goes to visit Chase. And Chase was like, yeah, Cole, you know, he called me and told me about your conversation. He's like, tell me what's going on. And of course, she tells him the whole breakdown. Now, one thing Chase picked up, though, Chase was like, you know, you a lot like Angela Channing. It's a wonder y'all don't get along. And Melissa don't deny it. Melissa was like, yeah, yeah, we are. We a lot alike. But let's get back to this whole thing with your daddy, because like that's you paying attention to the wrong shit. Like, that don't matter. That don't matter, okay? So she tells him, and of course, Chase don't have a whole lot to say. He listening and everything. So later on that night, Chase goes home and he tells Maggie about everything. And then Maggie tells him, listen, I talked to the doctor, and the doctor wouldn't really give me a whole lot, but peep this. Angela called the doctor too. Now the doctor ain't tell her nothing that he ain't tell me. But we do have more information, because the reason why the doctor did agree to talk to them the first time is because Emma was there and she could give verbal permission, and they were all there together and it wasn't a problem. But now that Emma's not around, he ain't tell Maggie nothing more than he told Angela. So the next day, Chase hunts down the sheriff. He like, listen, I told you you was going to meet with me one way or the other, and you going to make me chase you around this small ass town where it can't be but 5 officers. I'll find you, bruh. So the sheriff tells him, listen, you know your daddy was a drunk. You know your daddy like this. So we knew what happened with your daddy. Like, okay, he made a left when he should have made a right. He had one too many to drink. I was trying to save the county a whole lot of money, and that's why I didn't do the inquest, okay? And Chase was like, well, what if we exhume the body? And he was like, boy, you've been watching one too many movies. That ain't even how I work. We can bring that body up, but it probably ain't gonna be nothing there. Like, we ain't gonna find nothing. There ain't no evidence there. And he was like, how convenient. He said, well, I tell you what, I might just have to do an inquest and figure this out. And the sheriff was like, Chase, listen, let this go, bruh. Like, nothing good is gonna come out of this whole situation. Let it go. And Chase was like, no. Julia is trying to convince Angela, just let Emma go tell the truth. It was an accident. It is what it is. Like, everybody know Emma a little special. It was an accident. She ain't mean to do it. Angela was like, I can't take that kind. Listen, I ain't doing it. I can't take that kind of chance. Like, that's not gonna happen. Chase goes down to the junkyard, because when Chase was talking to the sheriff said something about the truck being at the junkyard or something. Because again, Chase ain't thought about that damn truck, but the sheriff had to mention that the truck was down there. So now here comes Chase going down there, and of course the owner at the junkyard was like, this truck real popular today. It was just a Chinese dude here earlier today, paid me $5 for the steering wheel. And of course, in Chase's mind, that couldn't have been nobody but Child Lee. Like, who the hell else is it gonna be but Child Lee? Child. So now Chase got more and more in his mind. He feel like he has more and more evidence to confirm what it is that he think is going on. Anyway, then we have Douglas talking to Emma. And they're going for a walk, and they're having a real good conversation. And basically, they have a conversation about telling the truth. And Emma is like, I have found peace because I have learned the power of just being honest, telling the truth, and I don't have to hold that on my conscience. Douglas was like, absolutely, I agree. You should always tell the truth, no matter what. Remember that, Emma. Always tell the truth, no matter what. And then here come Angela, rolling along, talking about Emma getting the car, so chill in the air. Douglas was like, okay, but she walking with me like I'm her whole daddy. Like, Angela, we be there in a minute. Angela was like, Emma, get in this car. Ain't nobody. She said, Douglas, you ain't well either. But mind you, she ain't offered Douglas no ride. And I'm thinking, Douglas is the one that just had a damn heart attack. You ain't gonna give him a ride. Damn. So Douglas then tells Emma, where you want to go? I'll take you wherever you want to go. I want to spend some time alone with you. So she said she wants to go to Paris. He said, okay, it's Paris then. Angela gonna say, Douglas, I don't know why you telling that lie. You know you ain't going to no damn Paris. You know you not well. Douglas was like, let me handle. You let me take care of that. You let me take care of that. Child. So next thing you know, Chase went to go visit the district attorney, right? He is convinced. He had a conversation with Gus and with Cole, and he is convinced that his father was murdered. So he went to go see the district attorney, and he told the district attorney point blank, because the district attorney was basically throwing all of these reasons at him why his evidence was real shoddy. So Chase was like, listen, let me just go on and be clear about something. Either you gonna jump on board on this, or you're not gonna jump on board on this, okay? I mean, if you're not up for the task, I'll find somebody who is. But I know you young and you new in your job, and I know I'm new in my job. But either you with me or you not. And he was like, hold up, like, I'm with you, but understand that when I go to war, I like to have all my T's, all my I's dotted and my T's crossed, right? Chase was like, okay, I can work with that. Now back up to Falcon Crest. They are having dinner. Melissa, instead of having morning sickness, honey, Melissa got night sickness, and she had to get up from the table and go take care of some things. And so while she was gone, Lance just went on to let his mama and grandmama know. He was like, you know I'm not the daddy, right? You know that's not my baby. Angela was like, it's yours now? Julia was like, yeah, I mean, you are married. Like, you are going to be suspect number one. She was like, y'all was dating for months. Lance was like, not because I wanted to. Like, we wasn't really dating. We was just spending time together because y'all was making us spend time together. He said, I am not the father of that child. He said she won't even let me touch her. And of course, Julia was like, you ain't never had a problem getting a woman to touch you, so I don't even know what you're talking about now. And Angela was like, well, I mean, it is what it is. You married. So Melissa comes back in the room, and Lance was like, Melissa, go on and tell them. You just tell them the truth. You know I'm not the father of that child. Melissa put on that performance. Melissa broke out into tears and was like, Lance, how dare you say something like that? And went running out the room. And Angela was just sitting there grinning. Angela know Lance ain't that damn father of that baby, but she don't care. Because in her mind, he married to her. It's hers now. I mean, it's his now, whether he wanted to be or not. Next thing you know, honey, the district attorney has agreed to file these charges. He had a talk with Chase, and he was convinced. So we see Philip and Angela. And Angela is like, well, I just ain't going to go. I'm just not going to give them the satisfaction. Philip was like, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. Angela said, okay, fine. Well, I'm not going to, Emma's not going to speak. He said, just tighten the family up. She said, well, everybody cool except for Emma, the main person. He said, well, there are ways around that. There are ways that we can, make sure that Emma doesn't show up. And she was like, and of course, Angela she don't want no parts of this. She said, this is ridiculous. Chase is just being ridiculous. And Philip was like, listen, Angela, we're going to make them think that we're giving them what they want. We're going to give them just enough information. We're not going to tell them the whole thing. We're not going to tell them the truth. It's going to be all right. Trust me. And then he hits on her, honey. He's talking about something. When all of this is over, just let me take you away somewhere. Y'all, why Angela give him this look like, boy, bye? Like, the look on her face was like, really? Now? That's what we doing? So the day has come. We are at the courthouse, honey. And we are all at the courthouse. Angela comes through with her brown leather gloves on, honey. Her little brown power suit. And, of course, all the jail birthdays of their child. Melissa's with them. Everybody come walking through, right? Just as they getting ready to call Angela to the stand, Angela just got sworn in, was getting ready to answer the first question. Who come walking in the back door? Emma and Douglas. Douglas told Emma, listen, baby, I just want you to tell the truth. You just go in there and you just tell the truth. Angela saw Emma, honey. She jumped off that witness stand and ran so fast to the back of that courtroom. The judge was like, Miss Channing, you weren't dismissed. Like, you don't. And of course, Philip was like, with your indulgence, Your Honor, her daughter is very sick. She's got to take her daughter home. He was like, yeah, ain't nobody taking nobody home. Emma was like, I just want to tell the truth, mother. I just want to tell the truth. Douglas is like, just let her tell the truth, Angela. Just let her tell the truth. And baby, Angela was like, no. Next thing you knew, Douglas passed out, fell out on the floor, died. Chase tried to save him, tried to give him some, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and stuff. And they didn't do mouth-to-mouth, but you do. And the paramedics showed up, and the paramedics pronounced him dead. Angela stood up, and she looked at Chase, and she said, I will never forgive you for this. Y'all, the next episode is the season finale. We're going to see how that worked out. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.